Hello and a warm welcome to this class. Let us look at our strand for today, forces and energy. Substrand, electricity and electronics. Objectives. By the end of the lesson, learners should be able to explain electric circuits, identify the basic components of an electric circuit, state at least one function of each of the basic components. Now let's look at this introduction. What do you think the picture is depicting? Good. You can see a bulb, battery, and then a switch. The bulb is also glowing light. So the name for this kind of arrangement is called a circuit. This is an electric circuit. Great. So what is an electric circuit? An electric circuit is any path through which charges can move. So the diagram has been provided again. So it's a path through which charges can move. So the charge in the battery is being able to move through the lines, and the green lines that you see over here are known as wires. They are wires. So the charges from the battery moves through the wires, enter into the switch. The switch releases the current and it lights the bulb. It enters into the bulb and it lights it. So there are some basic components of electronics, and these components are resistors, batteries, switch, LED, and a lot. But we shall look at only this. Now let's look at this picture. What do you think is this? Great. It is they are resistors. They are resistors. So the question comes, what is a resistor? Resistors are used to resist the current flow in electrical circuits. Example, if too much current flows through an LED, it is destroyed. So the main work of the resistor is to resist some electric flows that moves through the current. Again, it works by converting electrical energy into heat, which is dissipated into the air. So the heat that comes, or the heat that produces in the circuit, is being dissipated with the help of the resistors. So let's look at the function of a resistor. It is used to limit the current that flows through a circuit. So it is used to limit. It limits it. It doesn't move too much. When the current is moving too much, it is the resistor that makes sure that it is in its lane. So that's one function of the resistor. So this is how it looks like. And we have the symbol of a resistor to be this. So this is how the symbol of a resistor looks like. So just look at it very carefully. This is the drawing, or this is the actual thing, the actual drawing of the resistor, and this is the symbol. So we have the drawing and the symbol. Great. Now, the next component is battery or cell. And there is a picture of that sort over here. So let's look at it. Batteries or cells are materials whose chemical reactions create a flow of electrons in a circuit. And let us identify this. All batteries are made up of three basic components. What are the components? We have the anode component, that is the negative side of the component. So the negative side, this side of the battery is an anode. The next part of the battery is a cathode, and that is the positive side. So this side is also known as a cathode. The next one is known as electrolyte, and the electrolyte is a substance that chemically reacts to anode and cathode, and when they react together, it is being able to release the chemical energy out of the battery. Now let's look at the symbol of a battery. So this is how the battery looks like. We have the positive side here and then the negative side, as you can see. So what are the functions, or what is the function of a battery? Batteries store chemical energy to be converted into electrical energy. So batteries store chemical energy to be converted into electrical energy. That is the primary function of a battery. Now let's look at this picture. What do you think will be that? Great. It is a switch. It is a switch. So a switch is a component which control the openness or the closeness of an electric circuit. So if you want to open an electric circuit, it is the switch. If you want to close it, it is the switch. And in another way, the open and the close is known as off and on. So when you open a circuit, you have put it off. And when you closed a circuit, you have put it on. Switches are critical components in any circuit which requires user interaction or control. So this is how a switch looks like. That's the diagram, the symbol of a switch. So this switch is opened. It is opened, so it is off. When this line or this material is placed on this, then it opens. So this is an open switch. Let's look at LED or bulbs. So an example is being displayed over here. That's a bulb. This is a bulb. LED. It simply means light emitting diode. That's the full meaning of LED. It's a semiconductor light source that emits light when current flows through it. And this is the symbol of it. So in electronics, if you see any symbol of this sort, it represents LED or bulbs or lamp. Closure. In today's lesson, we have learned that there are some basic components of electronics. Examples: resistors, batteries, switch, LEDs. Now, an electric circuit is any path through which charges can move. That is what we looked at. initially. And then again, we look at some of the examples of a electrical circuit. We have so many types. It is a simple electric circuit. We have another type. There is one type where we have the resistor over here. We have the bulb or the LED. And then we have the switch. This is an open switch. And then we have the cell. So this is one type of a circuit. And then there's another type. This one is having the real component, unlike this, which is using only the symbols. So looking at it, the bulb is found here, and then the bulb is also here. And then we have the closed switch. These are switch, and the symbol is over here. And then the battery is found here. We have two batteries here, and then there is another battery here. And then the wire is all over, and then the lines over here too is known as is also known as the line is also known as the wires. So there's a representative of this. In our next meeting, we shall look at climate change. We shall look at climate change. So thanks for watching. Until we meet again. Bye bye.